Stop the insanity. Get your focus back onto what really matters in life. Your faith, your family, your finances, and your future. Sit back, listen, and change the trajectory of your life. You are listening to the Money for Life podcast. Let's welcome your hosts, Teresa Kuhn and Rick Sapio.
All right, everyone. This is Rick Sapio. I'm here with Amy Novakovich. And it's funny, we just met, but we talked for 10 minutes prior. And I love people like her. She's passionate about what she does. She's got 4 kids and probably like a lot of you seeking balance while being on purpose. And I'm excited to talk to you. We had a mutual friend named Steve and Hank, well, 2 people actually, who connected us. So Amy, welcome to Money for Life. And you're going to demonstrate how you have a passionate commitment around our 4 Money for Life, which is faith, family, finances, and future. So welcome to the show. And please give us a background on you and how you got to this point in your life.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And I really feel like I connected to you already too. For some reason, it feels like I've known you for years. I don't know why. Well, I'm originally from Wisconsin. The accent doesn't come out until I say that word. And then everybody's like, oh, I hear it now. So I moved to Florida 16 years ago. It'll be 17 years in August.
What made you move?
Well, actually, my high school sweetheart, I packed up and left in the middle of college and followed him to Florida. I got here by the Lord, I'm sure. I mean, really. Just
Why did he go there?
for golf. He was a golf pro.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So we moved to Florida. And then I had no idea what I wanted to do because I was going to school for psychology, which ended up helping me a lot in this last year, by the way. So I understand why I went through all that now. But went to school for psychology, was 2 semesters away from graduating and packed up and moved to Florida and just went like door to door trying to find any job I could find, like needed to support because he was going to school full time. So I went and got any job and a bank hired me as a teller. Ended up really loving it and got promoted and was a personal banker. So I did, lending and banking for a while and then got promoted again. And I was relationship manager, assistant manager. And then I met my now husband who was in investments and he really inspired me because I would sit in on his meetings and see how he really cared for people and wanted to help them.
Amy, were you allowed to date fellow employees?
I think that was okay. I don't think anybody ever said anything. Our boss was really great. He was really good with it. He was fine.
Because normally we frown upon that around here, but that just thought I'd ask.
Are a little bit different. The banks are, I don't know. They're more numbers focused instead of relationship focused.
Does it seem like 16 years ago? Is that when you met?
I guess I met him like 14 years ago.
Wow. I'm just thinking about 14, 15, because today is my 15-year wedding anniversary.
Aw, happy anniversary.
Thank you. I'm asking because it doesn't seem like that long ago. Does it seem like a long time ago or no?
I don't know. I guess it does only because we've been through so much. I think like building this business. And I will say this. So we've had this business now for 10 years and it doesn't feel like that at all. It does not feel like 10 years. That flew by. But yeah, if I think back to when I met my husband, when I was a banker at the bank, oh yeah, that feels like a long time ago to me. Yeah. So anyway, I got inspired by him in investments. And that was when I went back to school and got my finance degree and my CFP and my CRPC. And then we just didn't fit at the bank. It just wasn't for us. It's very cookie cutter and it's a good place to build a book of business. It's just, if you really want to do A to Z financial planning, it wasn't great. So in 2011, we opened Nova Wealth Management and we do full service financial planning. So we have a CPA in our office, an estate planner in our office. And then, like I said, I'm a certified financial planner. So we do tax analysis. We do estate planning analysis. We do investment analysis. We do in-house investment management, everything from CDs, brokered CDs to options. We have clients on all ends of the spectrum. So
let me just give you a plug for you and just my gut. And I've been in and around this industry for a long time, and we have had over 100,000 clients, believe it or not, in mutual funds and investing over the years. But it's uncanny. I've never been on your side of the business, but it's uncanny how many financial planners you go to. And then you say, okay, we're ready to go. And they say, well, do you have your own estate attorney? And we go, no. The client goes, well, isn't that what you do? And no, we outsource the estate, we outsource legal, we outsource financial planning, and we outsource money management. Well, what the hell do you do?
they like to use the term quarterback.
Right.
One that puts you in the appropriate place at the appropriate time, which I personally don't feel like that gets the best results because we've seen the results in comparison to where we were, where we had 1,200 clients at one time. How can you really service 1,200 clients? I had no idea who half my clients were.
Exactly.
And so you come to a place where you can really get to know people personally and take them to the next level.
Right. And the cool thing about what you do, which is so rare again, is you've got the accountant in-house, you've got the money managers in-house, which is you, you've got the estate attorney in-house. And I would think, and we talked about this prior to the call, first of all, how rare it is to have a company like that. But number two, how rare it is that a client appreciates that because they look at you just like they look at the Merrill Lynch broker. And two things couldn't be more dissimilar. So everybody listening, I would say, if you don't have a financial planner that does it all in one shop, by the way, most people don't have a financial planner to begin with. I've had one for years and years, and it has made all the difference. And you know what? I don't try to do my own stuff, and I'm in the business. Yet people outside the business try to do their own stuff, which is insanity.
Well, money is personal. It's hard to do your own. Like actually, my husband and I definitely have him do mine. He doesn't let me do his as much because he likes the control, but I think it's emotional. It's hard to make your own financial decisions because it's your money and it's emotional. So even if you understand, I have clients that are very educated that used to be in the business, but they just appreciate us doing it because once you get in your own way, it's hard to get out.
So give us the sales pitch because I think people just don't get what you do. And why should people have a wealth? I'm going to call you, the name of your firm is Nova Wealth Management. It's right in front of me. And one of your claims to fame is you don't just get an advisor, you get a team of dedicated professionals. But tell us back up from there and just the whole industry in general. Why should somebody use it? And then give the example of the hairdresser, which is just so compelling. And just tell the whole story. Why for your industry, then why you, and then about the hairdresser. Maybe that's not the right word, but you know who I'm talking about.
I do. Yeah, I would say why for our industry? A, because again, money is personal, but B, because I think just like losing weight, you really need somebody to hold you accountable. Money can be something that I always tell my clients, it can be very temporary. So you can get money in and not even really balance it. And with credit cards nowadays, it's like, I can't tell you. There's not a single person when I ask, okay, so how much was your monthly expenses last month? Nobody knows. I have online banking. I have credit cards. I had enough money that went in and I still have money in the bank. That's what they know. So money in my mind becomes temporary. Where'd the money go? It kind of evaporated. You ordered stuff online. You went and shopped here. You went on a trip. You don't know what you spent. So you have to have an accountability partner. And that is something that I think on top of just it's an industry where people speak a different language, meaning I could sit here and tell you about options and why they're a benefit to somebody's portfolio. And 9 out of 10 people aren't even going to understand it in one conversation. It's just kind of a different language. It's hard. So not that everybody should have options, but the point is that if it's appropriate, or even a life insurance policy, like you had said you had done, or just owning bonds or the economy or the stock market, people don't understand that language. So first, I would say money's emotional. Second, I would say people don't really understand. It's a language that they understand. And third, you need that accountability partner. And then the example of the hairdresser, I think people don't think they need a financial advisor until they've seen somebody else or heard somebody else's testimony. So I had a referral to me from a friend, a client. She owns her own business. She's a hairdresser. She is very successful in Naples, Florida. So her clients pay her a lot of money. She makes anywhere from $150,000 to $300,000 a year and had zero money saved by the age of 52. She's single. She has no kids. So she thought, well, I don't really need to save money, right? And I'm like, well, how many hours do you work a day? She's like, I don't know, probably sometimes 8, 9. I'm like, you want to do that forever? Well, no, I can't. I mean, my hands are already hurting and I can't stand on my feet. I'm like, then you need to save money. Like, you kind of wake up somebody because they're going to wake up someday and be like, I don't really want to work anywhere, but how does that work? So I got her on a plan. I did a full-blown plan showing her if she puts away this much of her income, this is how much she has in expenses, this is how much is left over. And in 6 years, she has almost $1 million.
Wow.
So if you take somebody from point A to point B in a short period of time, you can really make a difference in somebody's life. Now, she just went from having possibly only Social Security to live on at the age of 62 if she wanted to stop working, or now it's her choice. I mean, who doesn't want the choice? You don't have to retire. If you have all this money saved, there's a big difference psychologically. I told you I studied psychology between having to work or choosing to work. And I'd like to say that's where our firm makes the difference.
All right, everyone. And now this is a message from our sponsor, the 100-Year Savings Solution. Teresa and I do these podcasts because we are very committed to you having wealth in your life. And that wealth is long-term wealth. And how do you get wealth? You get wealth by employing the barbell investment strategy, in which you focus on creating a foundation of wealth using specially designed whole life insurance from a mutually owned insurance company. And you're going to get higher returns with far less risk. I call it risk-free, but it's far less risk than you can get anywhere else in the world. And once you have that financial foundation set up, the rest of your wealth creation is almost automatic. Go to www.100yearsavings.com. Let me ask you a question. When people like her, did she buy the whole thing lock, stock, and barrel, like everything you offer?
No, not everything, but I think I needed to start baby steps.
So what percent of the times that you pitch somebody one-on-one do they actually join like this person did?
Oh, I would say a lot. I'd say really high. I'd probably say at least 75%. When I show them the numbers, because I'll tell you why. You can go to any financial planning firm and they can spit your information into a fancy software and come up with a beautiful plan that costs you $5,000, $10,000, whatever. Here you go. Here's your financial plan. Have a nice day. It's a pre-filled software that just punches in a bunch of stuff. And then what happens in 3 months if your husband passes away? Or what happens if you change jobs or you move? Or, okay, well, now my plan means nothing. So what I try to do is I just print clients' reports and I just say, okay, if you saved this, this is your expenses. This is how much you have left over. So if you saved this and if we performed this and invested in this, this is what it would look like in 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, and 20 years. And then I can also show them reports of cash flow each and every year, how much surplus or deficit they have. And all you need are those 4 pieces of paper and people start to see it. They're not going to look through a 100-page book. Like you said, one of your things is simplify. It's exactly what I try to do with financial planning. I just try to put the paper in front of them that shows exactly what they needed to see.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is, first of all, your close rate is incredibly high, but that's probably because you do good at what you do and there's a lot of referrals. But oftentimes people, they'll look at something 10 years from now and they'll think it's so far into the future. We're recording this on March 25th, 2021. Do you remember March 25th, 2011? I mean, I don't remember exactly that day, but I can generally remember that. Well, that was only 10 years ago. How fast did it go by? This fast. But for whatever reason, they can't imagine that the next 10 years will go by that fast. I don't know why. So they delay and they don't.
I mean, look at your kids. Like my oldest are 15. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how did this happen? They got their driver's permits like 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh my gosh, like how did this happen? Like time just flies.
Yep. Another thing you pointed out made me think about a conversation I had with my mother when I was about 24. She's deceased now, but I have a brother. He's 11 years older than me, and he was always broke, and he was an entrepreneur, and he started this business. It was a sales company. So he was probably around 35 or 36 at the time, at the top of his game. But my mother's like, how much revenue have you done in your company? And he's pounding his chest, $100 million in revenue in 10 years. She's like, so $100 million went through your hands. Where is it? He had nothing to show for it, like zero.
Money is temporary, gone.
It just woke me up. Had he just taken, and now it was a sales company, it was a rep business, but I don't know what percent his EBITDA was, his gross profit, but I'm sure it was about 15 million. And all he had to do is take 5-10% and funnel it into a place that he wouldn't see it. Into an account like that. You guys do have some go to insurance, some go to the market, et cetera. And he probably would have $25 million today without doing anything different.
Easily. Now, if he would have seen that 1-page report that showed him, if you put just this much money away in 5 years, you'll have this number. This will be your bank account or your investment account. This right here. People go, oh, wow.
What do you use as assumptions for return?
I go low. I go really conservative because I guess you just want to overpromise and underdeliver. So I usually use 4%, which I believe is pretty conservative. I mean, the market average is 6.5 without any management, but it also depends on the client's risk. I mean, if they're looking for something that's more aggressive, they're looking for something that's more safe, I set cash to zero growth as of right now, and you don't know if interest rates are going to go in the future, but I just put zero growth on cash. So things like that, I try to go really conservative, and I go over on inflation and taxes. I try to overestimate because we definitely feel inflation and taxes are going up. So you do have to guesstimate in some areas, but you want to be just really conservative. And then every year we want to double check those numbers and where we are in the progress of the plan. And that's really fun to see them be ahead. I like them to be ahead. So it really only benefits me to go conservative.
Can you do me a favor and email me? I gave you my email. Email me a sample of those 4 sheets. And if anybody wants to talk to Amy, just go to www.novawealthmanagement.com and you could see her bio there and send an email and ask for these 4 documents that she's going to send me a sample of. You do kind of have this personality where you make it seem easy. And honestly, it is easy. Here's the funny thing. Losing weight is easy. It's easy. Just eat less and exercise more. But why the hell doesn't anybody do it? So this too is easy. But for whatever reason, it's not simple to execute upon for people. And that's why they need somebody like you to hold their hand. So I appreciate what you do very much. I've always had a coach in that area. But let's talk about another topic that you bump into all the time and I bump into all the time, which every time I run into a friend and they're trading Bitcoin or they're trading real estate, flipping house or whatever, they always seem to not have money in 5 years. What is that phenomenon?
They get in over their head. I think they chase adrenaline rushes. And so what it is that you have these GameStop people. I had quite a few phone calls because of the GameStop, and I don't want to call it greed. I want to call it more of an adrenaline rush. But what happens is when you do see a success, especially if you kind of just start it. So like Bitcoin is fairly new in the large scheme of things, in the large scheme of investments, and somebody hits it big in Bitcoin, that's almost one of the worst things that can happen to them right away, because then they want more of that, right? So then the next time they're going to put in more money. Everything gets bigger. So they chase that adrenaline rush or the greed. So with GameStop, I had a friend that had bought GameStop at like $12. And when it was at $150, I told him, I said, sell 75% of it. Just take the gain. You will never get hurt taking gains, ever. And obviously it went higher. And so he calls me and he said, oh, it went higher. And I'm like, yeah, but if you were to leave it, it also then crashed. And I mean, I know it's back up again, but then it crashed again and the company is bankrupt, So eventually this thing is going to go down and they're going to lose the money. But because they get in and they make money, then they want it bigger and they want it more. And they're always chasing the what if though. But what if? And the real estate market of 05, 06, people remember that taste in their mouth. They think, oh my gosh, I brought that one property and in 2 months I sold it for that and I can do that again. That's what it is. It's an adrenaline rush.
I can't tell you how many of these I've had, but a friend of mine is a dentist and him and his wife, he was asked to be on the board of a new dental company. Company went public and they didn't have a lot of money. They lived paycheck to paycheck, but the stock was worth 1.2 million liquid. And he was about 40. They had little kids. And this was a while back, a long time ago, actually. And I said, I need you and your wife to get your butt in my office. So they came to my office. They sat across the table. You can predict what happened. I said, look, you guys have $1.2 million. It's all the money you have. You're living month to month. You need to sell the whole thing and you need to put it into this portfolio that's going to be safer. The wife started screaming at me. You don't know what you're doing. And I said, the company has no revenue, zero. It's going to zero. The thing that shocked me more than anything, they chose to get mad at me and leave, was how fast the stock went to zero. It happened like overnight. And do you think they called me? No. It actually caused a schism in our relationship because part of them is mad at me for being right, but I wasn't interested in being right. I was interested in them being wealthy.
Oh, I know. And that's what I mean. Trying to protect you from yourself. Money is emotional. It's a really hard thing to do to get out of your own way. It can make or break somebody. For sure. We have clients that want penny stocks and we're like, we don't trade penny stocks. We don't do it. I can mark it as unsolicited and put it in a separate account, but I'm not counting it against our performance when it goes to zero.
I would say no, because it takes so much time. I have lunch with clients and they're on their phone looking at stocks. I'm like, look you right in the eye. I'm looking you in the eye right now. I have never bought a one-off stock in my life, mainly because I don't have time. And everything goes into a plan. Now, ironically, we are starting a subsidiary company and hiring a PhD trader to create a trading business with our own capital. But I'm not going to be involved in those one-off decisions, nor do I want to be. So I don't know what it is about the stock market that people think that I could be a dentist my whole life and I know everything about dentistry, and I would never debate them on whether I need a root canal or not, but they'll debate me on my industry, which is bizarre.
It's because they have access. I mean, they can go to Robinhood and open an account and do it. You and I can't just go stand at a dentist chair and get dental appointments without, they have access. And so that's very dangerous. I think of it like as a mother, I think of my children, like they just want something so bad, but they just don't understand. They don't have all the facts. My 4-year-old does not understand why I cannot play with fire. Like, it's so cool, mommy, things like that. Like, why can I not do that? And that's kind of what I relate it to is they don't have all the facts. They have a general level of knowledge, and that's very dangerous. But it's a greedy business, and a lot of people can make money on it.
I love that perspective. I've never heard it put quite that way. All right. Well, listen, Amy, in the interest of time, can you just tell people how to get a hold of you and any final words? It's obvious to us that you're very passionate about what you do. It's who you are. You're a mom and you're a wealth generator. But final words and how people can find you.
Yeah, so people can find us, and you already said it, our website by just going to Nova, N-O-V-A, like a supernova, wealthmanagement.com, or they could just call our office in Florida. We have two. We have an office in Chicago and an office here in Florida, but we're at Florida right now, 239-444-1794. And I would say final thoughts. I think if you've ever contemplated getting a financial planner, or even if you've had that thought of, I don't really need one, I would just ask yourself, what am I doing in 15 years with money? What does that look like? And if you don't have a clear picture, let somebody help you. Just let somebody run a report and show you. I mean, it really doesn't take much time at all. And I think most people think of money and finances as the now. Well, I'm good. I can afford my bills. I have income. I can pay for my kids' soccer. My business is doing well. People think of money as the now. The really talented and successful people think of money as a 10-year, 15-year thing.
And that fits right into how we look at it too. We call our product a 100-year saving solution. It's all about long-term to make today easier. So Amy, thank you so much for your time. I love your energy and your spirit. And if you want to reconnect, send me an email. You got it. I'm going to send you the family placement, which we've done a podcast on.
I love that. I'll send you the pages, the 2 reports that I have, the 4 pages.
Awesome. And I like how simple you made it. It's right aligned with our values. Keep everything simple and simple as possible. So thank you for your time. I enjoyed it.
You have just experienced Money for Life. Implement these strategies today and create a life by design. Have a blessed day.